What's up, YouTube? It's Heretic here, and I am back with another standard format deck. Today we are looking at a list pretty similar to the one that Kevin Baxter used to win the Ohio State Championships. Of course, there's bound to be a couple of differences here. I don't have his exact list from Ohio, though it's probably because I didn't ask him. But in any case, we're going to go ahead and look at this Zoroark-based Dark deck. And so, as you can see here, we run a 4-4 Zoroark line. We also do run a Zoroark break. It's a pretty clutch card in a couple of matchups that would otherwise be awkward. We also do still run one copy of Yveltal EX. But we're going to go ahead and go over the list here and go and take a look at some of the different cards we got here before we play a couple of games. Okay, so we start with our 4 Zoroas, and we use the Moonless Madness one just because I feel like it's the better of the 260 HP Zoroas. Both have the same second attack, Dark Edge, dealing 30 for a dark and a colorless and discarding an energy. So we just use them to evolve though. So for Zoroark, our main attacker, having stand-in essentially Keldeo's Russian ability only on a stage 1, but in exchange for having to evolve, you only give up 1 prize now. Also Mind Jack, just really the big attack of the deck for 2 colorless, dealing 10 plus 30 more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and we have plenty of ways to make that happen. We also do run the 1 Zoroark break to copy our opponent's attacks. That awkward but not likely to surface Mega Mewtwo matchup is actually greatly aided by this. Some other matchups that help this is great against Mega Manectric while you're getting ready to use Gallade, putting more energy on our board, and then just against anything else that really hits for a ton of damage and looks to OHKO that isn't Night March, you can really take advantage of it. Really just a powerful attack to have and really underrated. We've slimmed down to a 1-1 Maxie's Gallade line, but it's too powerful, I feel like, especially against the Mega Manectric matchup, to completely remove from the deck. So Premonition, of course, letting us rearrange the top 5 cards of our deck once per turn, and then Sensitive Blade for 2 colorless, dealing 60, or if we played a supporter, it goes up to 130 on that turn, being enough then to, after playing Weakness, to take out anything with a weakness to fighting types. We run 2 Shaman EX for draw power, which is pretty standard. And then we have our 1 copy of Yveltal EX, Evil Ball, just a big piece of muscle against like Seismitoad or especially Giratina decks when they're not going to let us put our double colorless down onto Zoroark. Yveltal definitely becomes a big deal then. Giratina needing 4 energy to attack, we can get an Evil Ball knockout pretty easily there. And then we've got 3 Oblivion Wing Yveltals to accelerate energy out of the discard pile. Early game you can compress an energy or 2 in Oblivion Wing. Late game you can recover your lost energy and maintain your board so that you can continue to attack. Can also Darkness Blade if you really need to for 100 damage for 3. Not the worst thing in the world. And then we also run 1 Fright Knight Yveltal. To take away the effects of Pokemon tools while it's active, of course, the primary reason. And then also for a dark and a double colorless, we can do 60 to the active and 60 to a bench Pokemon EX. So something that maybe is taking a hit is on the bench, we can finish off with a 60 damage snipe, or we can start attacking Shamans and force either a Sky Return or we get a 2 attack knockout if this guy doesn't get KO'd. So pretty solid there. We play 3 copies of Target Whistle. Now this is primarily to bolster Zoroark's damage output. We can also bring low HP EXs like namely Shaman back from your opponent's discard pile, Lysander it up, and then use the Zoroark to not only capitalize on the extra damage from your opponent having a bigger bench, but taking 2 prizes off of a small EX Pokemon like Shaman. Definitely a very powerful combo. So 3 copies of Target Whistle, definitely the most of those I've ever played in a competitive deck like this. 4 Ultra Balls, pretty standard, just to search for our Pokemon. 4 VS Seeker, again, very standard. And 4 Trainer's Mail, much the same since we run the Maxie's Gallade engine. 1 Startling Megaphone, because Zoroark will often get into the OHKO range, as can Yveltal EX with Evil Ball. And we don't want something like, say, Focus Sash just basically ruining all of our fun for us. So in exchange for that, we just go ahead and use Megaphone. Also helps against Bursting Balloon, which can be kind of a pain. Or just getting something like Fighting Fury Belt off the board to once again increase the odds of an OHKO. 3 battle compressors. I ended up cutting the 4th one for the Startling Megaphone because I just feel it's such a good card right now. And so 3 compressors is still enough to set up the 1/1 Gallade engine, as well as get some energy and some supporters in the discard for use with Oblivion Wing and VS Seeker. So we go ahead and stick with that. We play Professor Sycamore as our obvious discard your hand, draw 7 supporter. And we play 1 Maxis to get Gallade out, 1 Lysander, 1 Judge, 1 Hex Maniac, and then we have a 1/1 split on our stadiums. We play 1 Reverse Valley to make our Dark types do 10 more. And we also play Parallel City to knock Shamans off of our bench if we have to use them to set up, and if we're not able to draw into our resources without it. You can also, against like a Night March deck, you can knock Yveltal EX off the bench here as well. And then we play 2 Float Stones to free retreat, primarily for Zoroark. You stand in, you free retreat into whatever you need. And then 3 Muscle Band. And I opted against Fury Belt here because we run as I said, a 4/4/1 Zoroark line. So with so many evolutions, really we just want to have the consistency of being able to do that extra damage as opposed to trying to conserve a Fighting Fury Belt for our 1 Yveltal EX or one of our 3 Oblivion Wing Yveltals. So just a little more consistency here with Muscle Band. Then we run 4 double colorless and 6 darkness to round out our list. So we're going to go ahead and play a game and see how this goes. Okay, so it looks like we're going against some kind of a Psychic deck, be it a Trevenant or a Mega Mewtwo or something along those lines. Trevenant would be the most tournament expected. Sorry about that. The most tournament expected deck to see here, but there have been a lot of Mega Mewtwo decks floating around PTCGO. I'm not quite sure what the buzz is. People trying to get it into the competitive realm. Something I actually think might be better suited for Expanded. But nonetheless, so we're going to win the coin flip and go first. Try to get some Zoroark down early, and maybe we can even get that Gallade. But with that hand, we're getting nothing, and that sucks because we did have a good hand there for the most part. So it looks like that, well, that could still be either one, but I'm gonna hazard a guess that that's a Trevenant. So we get 2 Zoroarks to start. We also get a Compressor and a Trainer's Mail. 3 Darkness Energies. I mean, I guess that's better than 3 double colorless, although we do have Zoroarks. Because at least if we discard away our dark energies, we can simply recover them. And instead we see a Gallade. So talk about a little bit of surprise there. Gallade EX, okay. So we're going to go ahead and throw our Gallade. And the Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick. And because of our lack of supporters here, I think I'm also going to toss a Professor Sycamore away. And then we've got a Trainer's Mail here, which will get us a VS Seeker, so that's good to see. We can put both of these basics down. And then we'll just go ahead and attach here, and VS Seeker for the Professor Sycamore, and that'll give us a couple of energy to use as ammunition for Oblivion Wing. So we get a pretty solid start there. We can attach a Float Stone to this Zoroark, retreat it, and I'm not thinking we need to Battle Compress again just yet, so we'll just pass our turn right there. You could certainly make the argument to try and condense the deck of dead draws, but I think we've pretty much already gotten rid of the dead draws by this point. So we see an energy come down onto Gallade. Now, with a Dimension Valley, we could see a Swift Lunge here, which would force us to switch with something of our choice, which would just be the other Zoroark that has the Float Stone. He plays an Ultra Ball, discards a Golbat and a VS Seeker to grab a Zubat, and then plays Professor Sycamore, discarding a second VS Seeker. But we definitely know what we're up against at this point here, and our opponent just passes the turn. So we got another Trainer's Mail off the top deck, so we can compress first. Let's see what we can get rid of here. I don't think he's got any basics in the discard pile at the moment, so we can throw a Target Whistle, I think, for now. Not too worried about Pokemon Tools screwing us over right here, so we'll drop the Megaphone. And, oh geez, what do we want for the last one? We can go ahead and drop the Hex Maniac, I guess. That could be decent this turn, with a Zubat chilling out over there. So we'll Trainer's Mail here. We'll grab another Compressor, I suppose, because we'll just try to slim stuff down. If there's any more one-of supporters we can get rid of here. Let's see, is there a Lysander in here? I think there's already one. No, there's not. Okay, no, we discarded Hex instead. So we'll go ahead and let the Lysander go as well. And that might actually end up being it. Yeah, we're just going to let that one go. And then, let's see here. We've got an Eviltal that we can put down. And we can Shaman here for a few cards. Okay, so we do hit the Muscle Band, so we can actually knock out the bat as opposed to hexing. So we'll go ahead and throw the Muscle Band on there. Can evolve this one into Zoroark. And then play a VS Seeker here to grab the Lysander. So why stop the bat's abilities when you can just take the bats off the board? And that's what we're going to do, is Oblivion Wing, get a knockout, and we can go ahead and begin to charge up Zoroark. And what is this? 20 more damage for each of your own remaining prize cards. Okay. So if we get Zoroark Breakout, we could do a pretty significant amount of damage here. Unfortunately, we would need a Muscle Band to get a knockout now that we've taken a prize, but still very, very doable. So we see another energy come down onto Gallade and a Professor Birch with a heads flip. So he's going to get 7 cards, something that doesn't happen to us too often on the occasion that we play that card. And we see a level wall, so another Zubat coming down. We may just want to be able to go ahead and try to Lysander again, since we do have another VS Seeker, and simply Oblivion Wing for another knockout. So we see Mega Gallade come out without the use of the Spirit Link. So we draw Eviltal EX, which really isn't too necessary right now. I mean, I guess we could try to use it as a big piece of muscle since there's not much on the bench there. And we're just going to VS Seeker again for Lysander and continue to pick off these bats. So we'll just Oblivion Wing here again and get another energy, and I think we will go to the Eviltal EX this time. And we'll draw Judge off the prizes. So Mega Gallade will come forward once again. And we'll see Super Rod, so those Zubats are going right back into the deck. Now we'll see if our opponent, okay, we get the Golbat back as well. We'll see if our opponent pulls another Zubat out of the deck. We see a Shauna. So shuffles his hand back in, 5 cards. We see a third Psychic Energy come down. There's a Zubat, and we see Unwavering Blade for 110. But we're going to take another Zubat knockout here to prevent Golbat from just coming down and finishing the job. We're also going to get Zoroark Break into play here off of a top deck. So we can use a third VS Seeker, grab that Lysander one more time, and bring up another bat. Now we don't have an energy to accelerate this time, but we are still going to take Zubat off the board and once again prevent Golbat from hitting. And our opponent's going to forfeit with that. So apparently not too much left in hand there. And we're going to claim our first win against Mega Gallade Bats. And see if we get anything decent out of that box here. And we get 100 tokens. Not too bad. I can go with that. So we're going to go ahead and do another one. Okay. So we see some interesting types there. And, alright, head Zoroark. Yeah. We'll go first. Okay. So we'll see what we get here. And we got a couple of Zoroas to start off, and we've got the Gallade here if we could only get a Battle Compressor. Alright, so since we're going first, we're just going to put the one Zoroa down. And we see a Stardust Jirachi, and hey, Gallade just kind of fell into our hand. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, let's get that Gallade out on turn 1. Yeah, just give me another Zoroa, I think. Seems like the best play right now. Throw a couple of these guys down. Put Darkness Energy on one, give him a Muscle Band, and give me that Gallade I just threw away. I like him. We can get all 4 Zoroas down on turn 1. This is the way it's done. Premonition here. Zoroark is good right now, I feel like. Not sure that I want the Break Evolution just yet. Floatstone is cool. I'll take Battle Compressor. We'll just kind of leave it like that. And I think I'm willing to just kind of let the turn go from there. Not too eager to shaman just yet. So we'll see what he does. So we see a Trainer's Mail come down. And that grabs an Ultra Ball. Puts a Float Stone on his Jirachi. And let's see if he Ultra Balls for a Shaman here, or if he tries to get something on the bench to get ready to set up. So he tosses a Lysander and another Trainer's Mail. So I'm guessing he's going to go for some kind of an attacker here. And instead we see a Hoopa. So okay, so that's definitely a way to set up. So we see Hoopa EX, and that's going to start a search. So we're going to see 2 damage changed Mewtwo's and a Latios EX come out of the deck here. He could actually do an easy fast raid here. He's got the Muscle Band there. So we see a Mewtwo, a Muscle Band on that as well, another Mewtwo, and now a Professor Sycamore. So he's got the full setup there. Didn't even have to grab a Shaman. We do see the Psychic Energy come down onto Latios, which means we are going to get the fast raid for the knockout. So we'll get KO'd just like that. And let's see here. Go ahead and bring up another Zorua. And we'll be able to evolve here. So we can get Zoroark out, and he's going to be capable of dealing a little bit of damage here as well. So he's got 4 bench, so we're doing 130 right now. We do not have anything to target Whistle should we draw into it, however. So let's go ahead and throw another energy there. Now we should be able to hold off a knockout here unless one of these things mega evolves. Got one here that isn't holding a Pokemon tool yet. Could still be Spirit Link accessible. But I think in this situation, let's see, consider Hex Maniacing, but I don't think that does a whole lot for us. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this stuff go. Alright, so we get another Zoroark. And we get a Float Stone to go with it. Go ahead and toss some stuff here with Battle Compressor. Maybe try to get a VS Seeker play going. Got Lysander, we got Judge. I think we're probably going to let that other Compressor go now too. Now we can go ahead and use Premonition, rearrange our top 5, and I think we're going to be VS Seeker happy here. I guess we'll just be able to get whatever we need after that. So we can do that, and we can hit for 130 here, which seems pretty decent given the fact that a return knockout is only going to be possible with a Mega Mewtwo, and we can just Break Evolve to fight that. So we'll go ahead and launch a Mind Jack here for 150 damage after that Muscle Band. Really wish we would have had a target Whistle. Well, target, I guess, to work with there. So we do see the Spirit Link come down, and he's going to attach an energy and go ahead and do his Mega Evolution. But he still needs to get out of the active, and this thing does have 2 Retreat. Also worth pointing out that he has a Muscle Band on it, so he can't Float Stone. He'll need a Switch or an Escape Rope or something of the sort, maybe like an AZ, to get it out of there, as well as a Mega Turbo. So instead we see a Fast Raid for 60 damage. So we draw a VS Seeker, and we can go ahead and do the Break Evolution. I'm going to get it right onto the benched Zoroark and go ahead and give him an energy as well. So that's going to open up some attack options against Mega Mewtwo. Now we're still not quite hitting for enough, and we still don't have a target either. So let's see. Just we could Hex, or we could just... Oh, so this is where I wish I had an Oblivion Wing. I think we're just going to go ahead and throw the hand again. I'm sure we could Lysander. see if we can't get a baby Eviltal here. Well, we'll be able to get it off of... Alright, so we're going to let one of our Zoroarks go that we're not in too desperate of a need of. And I think we can let this Muscle Band go as well. Grab one of our Oblivion Winging Eviltals. Just kind of maintain the non-EX attackers here. We'll get another Zoroark down. Oh, yeah, we attached energy there. Okay. That was kind of silly. So let's not forget... Let's be a good player and not forget to use Premonition. So we get that double colorless energy for next turn. And then after that, I think we just Trainer's Mail into whatever we want. So we'll end up losing this one, but we can Mind Jack here, do another 150, take that guy off there, and we'll get 2 prizes for a 1-prize attacker, so that seems pretty good. So Jirachi's going to come up, just a free retreat, and now we just got to hope he doesn't have a way to knock out the Break Zoroark that we're sitting on. So we do see a VS Seeker here, but he grabs a Sycamore. Excuse me. So he Sycamores away 2 Psychic Energies and a Shrine of Memories. He also attached a Psychic. So he's got 1, 2, 3 in his discard. Free retreats for Mega Mewtwo, and he'll be able to Psychic Infinity here for a knockout. Could have also actually Shatter Shotted there for a knockout. But he can kind of just run that however he wants. So we'll go ahead and bring Zoroark Break up. And I guess the question here now, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not going to be enough damage, however. So we can throw this guy down. And we can try to copy an attack here. Let's see, we'd be doing 100 normally. So I think I can work with that. And let's go ahead and play the Trainer's Mail here and see if... Alrighty. Problem is we don't have too many resources to work with. Another Floatstone I guess might be nice since we're probably going to lose this Zoroark. Okay. So we just add that to our hand, I guess, and then do another Premonition. Now, do we have a target in here? Yes, we KO'd the Latios, of course. Okay. Just gonna go VS Seeker, I think. Oh, no, we already got that. Okay. So we can just do that, I guess, for now. It's just kind of whatever. His whole setup is really just kind of bleh. And we'll Foul Play. We can also use Moonless Madness. That's kind of cute. We'll Foul Play for Psychic Infinity. Now, it's worth noting that he's going to need quite a bit of assistance here if he wants to knock us out. Damage Change would be able to net him to send that 100 damage back our way, but it's not a knockout. And that is a big deal. So instead we see an AZ, so he's going to bring Hoopa back to his hand, play Mega Turbo. Let's see, he's going to need, let's see, with 5, yeah, he would, with 5 energies total, so with 4 on himself, he would be able to do Infinity for enough damage to knock out. But then Eviltal EX can just come up and say, who's your daddy? As could Gallade, actually, in this situation. Might actually be the better call. So we see an Ultra Ball discarding Judge and Hoopa. He goes and grabs another Mewtwo, and I think he knows he's going to have to set up another Mega Mewtwo here. Uses Damage Change, so he moves the 100 off onto the Zoroark Break. And we could do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could do 190, which is not enough. We could also Damage Change to try to move something off to one of these Mewtwo's, but that's also not enough, so... once again, it looks like we're going to get short on that KO. So I guess worth considering if we maybe want to retreat here. So we can attach an energy to the Oblivion Wing Eviltal. See if there's anything else that might be worth using here. Not at the moment. I guess we could try to abuse Hoopa. Could whistle Hoopa and try to Lysander it if we had a target whistle available. So let's do Premonition. So I think we will actually move the target whistle up to the front of this now, since we're not going to play a supporter this turn. And then go ahead and retreat into this guy and use an Oblivion Wing here. We'll get another energy out of there. We'll load that up here. And essentially we're going to come down to a Lysander war, I think, at this point. But now the Zoroark break is going to be in OHKO position here. So now there will be multiple threats just kind of sitting waiting on this Mega Mewtwo. So our opponent plays a Judge, which kind of sucks. And so, okay, so I guess where we go from here is going to depend on those Trainer's Mails, but we lost that double colorless energy, and that isn't exactly a good feeling. So we see a Mega Turbo come out of the deck via Trainer's Mail. And unfortunately, our opponent is a little smarter than we might like. Now, we also could try to go for a Mind Jack play. So we see Psychic Infinity, which is going to be just enough to finish off the Yveltal. And the loss of that double colorless is real. So we could Megaphone some stuff here. Let's go ahead and, before we decide if that's really relevant, we'll go ahead and grab the target whistle. Gets a card out of the deck, and we can use another Trainer's Mail here. And we are going to get a supporter, and that's key. And I don't think we're going to be Ultra Balling for anything, so we can just kind of use the rest of this stuff. Get those 3 Pokemon tools off of there, and then we can also bring that Hoopa back. And then Sycamore. And we do get our double colorless energy back here, so we can do more than enough damage with Zoroark Break to lace up a knockout here. I think that's probably going to be the play. Oh, so many choices. Foul play. Psychic Infinity. Get out of here. So we get a Trainer's Mail and a Reverse Valley out of the prizes. Now we know Jirachi's going to come up and probably hit us with that Stardust attack for, oh, to put things mildly, well, that wouldn't knock us out, actually. It would merely just, it would cost us our double colorless, so we would have to go find another one, which in its own way does suck very much. But we still have 2 double colorless left in the deck. I guess the question then at that point becomes, can Shaman draw us enough cards to hit one? We could try to use Premonition to our advantage there. So we see another Ultra Ball. He pitches a Lysander and a Mega Turbo. Goes and grabs a Shaman of his own. And that's music to our ears, as Zoroark can get an easy knockout there. So he sets up 3. Attaches a Psychic Energy to Jirachi. So we're going to see Stardust here, which is going to discard our double colorless, but more importantly, it's not going to knock us out. So we'll still be able to hit something. And we top deck a double colorless, so that's going to be the game right there, actually. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and go grab that Lysander out of our discard pile. We can just bring up the Shaman, and use Mind Jack for the knockout, and that's going to get us the game. So Zoroark is going to come through, and there are the others. There's a pair of double colorless just hanging out right there. Wow. Alrighty. So that is Zoroark and Yveltal. I guess just kind of Zoroark more stealing the spotlight now. And so that's our look at a standard deck for right now. And I'm kind of having mixed feelings about... sorry about that. kind of having mixed feelings about this whole thing, but in any case, this deck is, I guess it's good when it sets up, but it's a little clunky. I'm not quite sure how Kevin did what he did with it. Maybe he just built it differently and is a better player. But anyway, I'll see you guys very soon, and thanks for watching. Cheers.